Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Crossover Cinema Podcast. I'm your host, Kaya.
And I'm Carlo, and we are here to bring you the latest release on all the films, cinema, series, and media. And today we're going to talk about, how can I say that properly? Everything that happened in May.
We'd call it the May Shit Show.
The
May Shit Show. The box office and movie industry shit show. I think just the easiest way to get into it is just what came out this month. What did we see? What did we not see?
I was not expecting that at all. When we were talking about it in our last podcast, we were really hyped. We were really like anticipating all those movies. Well, I was. Fall Guy, sorry. Bro, I was hyped for that. I was hyped for Kingdom of the Apes. I was hyped for Furiosa.
I think it's clear that moviegoers... No, I think let's just keep it a beat. Moviegoers right now are a little more picky and a lot more, I think, in a certain respect, fickle. And I think that it really comes down to, like, what is the popular media right now and what is the popular way to access that media. And I feel like moviegoing is becoming that more premium niche experience that it wasn't before. And in a lot of respects, the movies that are coming out right now are a reflection of like what Hollywood thinks audiences want, and then the box office returns is a reflection of what audiences actually do want, which is not what's coming out lately. No, that's not to say that there aren't great things that have come out this past month or good works. It's really just, I think, a state of the industry as a whole and the way that audiences are responding to Hollywood.
It's right the now. Expectation we're used to, like, now a lot of like good movies that are like gets you like directly, like, I don't know how to say that, like you're so used to like be completely baffled by some of those movies that your expectations are high now. So when you're like seeing a movie that is okay, even there's that work around it, like you feel entitled to get like that super premium movie that you thought it would have be. I don't know, because
art is art, right? It can be subjective, and I feel like
let's talk about a movie that comes next year and that it's really anticipated, Beetlejuice. Just a sec.
Go ahead.
Like,
please.
I don't know if you saw the trailer.
I did.
And it's a lot of like they give us a lot of stuff about Beetlejuice that we wanted to see. Like, I think
it's the level of the art form in there. You're getting the stop motion animation.
So the expectation for Beetlejuice is so high right now for me because I love Beetlejuice. You love Beetlejuice too?
Well, for me, I haven't seen the original, actually.
Okay, so
hold on. Let me make this point. For me, the original, having not actually seen the film in its entirety, it was always playing on Teletoon, like so many times it played on Teletoon. So I would always see scenes and
you know what it is.
Yeah, exactly. Gina Davis, Alec Baldwin. There's a lot of factors in there that I feel like the 90s had a lot of films that were iconic, a lot of their iconic cast, a lot of the iconic like art within it, the aesthetic. And Tim Burton is the kind of director that you come to expect that with. So I feel like with Beetlejuice, it's a sequel. It's kind of a play on nostalgia to a degree, right? Yeah. One of the latest plays on nostalgia, but it's the way that it's doing it through the trailer. We're already seeing it's very reflexive of what audiences would want from a Beetlejuice sequel.
So for sure, I think a lot of people will go and see it, but the expectation, if it's not good, I think it will go like really bad. Like,
I think it's just going to be another nail in the coffin for movies that try to play on the old and what was
Wednesday
iconic.
It was really well done, so we expect something like that too.
But I think it's going to be a solid movie based on what we've seen. I watched the trailer with my mom. My mom is a fan of Beetlejuice and a big fan of Tim Burton, and she really liked what she saw.
For me, I love Beetlejuice. Like, it's crazy. I watched it so many times when I was younger. There's that part in the movie that she does like her kind of drawing on the wall that makes them go on the other side of in hell. Like when I was young, a lot of people in my area did this like kind of like door that you were drawing on that wall. So it's something that is very, and I'm telling you, you should watch. No,
I'm definitely. I'm going to. Don't worry. I'm going to be watching the original prior to the sequel.
Because there's a lot of stuff in the.
I've got a whole summer, you guys.
But let's go back right now. I'm sorry I went with Beetlejuice, but it's just the expectation. Like,
No, that's
what happened with
I'll tell you what it is.
That's what happened with
but
May, bro.
I'll add on to that. I think that mentioning something like Beetlejuice, because you just got a trailer for it, because you just got a clear indicator of what the vibe and what the intent of the film presumably is based on what you've seen. It's another thing to have the movies that have just come out this past month that had really a lot of hype around them to a degree, especially for example like Furiosa, and seeing those films not necessarily take to every member of the audience. I think a lot of times we look at like the zeitgeist of social media, like especially like Twitter. I'm on Twitter a lot, and the way that people perceive a lot of these films on Twitter is its own echo chamber of people who really enjoy that sort of work, really enjoy that sort of niche action, post-apocalyptic fantasy kind of vibes that Mad Max and that universe brings, right? But I think the box office returns on that. I think the actual cinema score was a B+, which is I always take into account cinema score because I think it's a really effective way of gauging a regular audience member's vibes, because you can catch any person. You can catch the niche viewer, you can catch the regular audience viewer, and they basically, in the States, I believe, they let the audience members come out and they have a poll member there who basically gives them a card and they score the film based on it, and they pull all that data to then make a consensus median average. And I feel like B+ is a good example of, I think, the divide. You for sure have a divide of audiences who felt that this film was so strong and hit all the marks that they needed it to. And I feel like for me, having seen it, that was one of the films I saw this past May. I didn't get to see The Fall Guy. I got to see Furiosa and Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes. And for me, out of those two films that I saw, I really took to Planet of the Apes a lot more than Furiosa. And I was really surprised by that because I've always been a fan of apes. But I think that there's a quality to those films that like I'm used to and I expect, and it achieved that. But with Furiosa, I had a higher expectation, that expectation you were just talking about. And it's just the entirety of the film missed this sense of urgency and I think intimacy that I was so used to with the last film. I saw that film with my mom 10 years ago or 9 years ago. And that film really hit, like Fury Road for me was like is a formulative, like, oh, this is what I want to make, or I want to make something as cool as this, or something that evokes the same level of urgency and intensity and ferocity on screen, and also just the synergy of everything around it, the director.
When it came out, like, but it was changing a lot.
Furiosa didn't do that for me.
No,
didn't do it.
Furiosa didn't do that. It wasn't like that expected. It didn't did good at all in the
box office wise. No, it's a bomb.
It's like worse than Garfield right now,
which is
crazy because Garfield is.
I honestly think it's because Chris Pratt's just reliable. It's unfortunate. It's unfortunate to say because I think Chris Pratt's just okay, but he's really reliable.
Pulled it off in
he's really
Mario.
reliable.
He pulled it off in Mario.
No, but that's what I'm saying. He's a very reliable. He's a reliable actor. He's solid in a lot of his works, and his acting style, his way of moving. It's kind of like his Vin Diesel has his way of going about it, or Jason Statham. Chris Pratt's acting type is very appealing in a 4-quadrant kind of way, which is what Hollywood likes.
Like a family kind
exactly. They like somebody who can appeal to old people, middle-aged people, young adults, teenagers, children. Exactly. Like as somebody who didn't want him to be casted as Mario, I was just I found that just kind of lame. I found it a very safe choice. It worked. It did. It just did. And when those things kind of all sync up together, you can see the way that there's a business aspect to it.
Yeah.
Now that's the thing that I think is we're battling. There's a big clash right now between the art of the industry and then the business of the industry, and how those two things are meeting. They used to synergize, I think, a lot better before, or it seemed to. But I think you've got the rise of AI. You've got a lot of these strikes coming. There's IATSE, the International Alliance of like basically crew members and whatnot who work in film, and they are potentially having a strike. You know what I mean? And these sorts of things all kind of compound on top of the problem of like everything going on right now. It's a lot. It's a lot. And
but Chris Pratt is a worldwide actor that could help, like that is accepted in all the families. That's why he's there,
And he works on a lot of different projects that kind of appeal to different kinds of people. Guardians doesn't necessarily appeal to just children. You know what I mean? It appeals a lot to older people. And then at the same time, something like Mario doesn't just appeal to adults who have nostalgia. It appeals to those kids who just see colors. Exactly.
Bro, for kids, like it's going so fast. The pace.
Not 90 minutes flat. You know what that is?
No, but everything is like.
I would have loved a 2-hour Mario movie. I don't know about you. I would have if they had made that movie 2 hours, given Bowser some more time to breathe.
Yeah.
Like I would. But I think when you look at it, it's very much.
I think it's perfect how it is. But it would be a completely other kind of movie that I would like to have about Mario more for me as an adult. But for a Mario
I can picture. That's what I'm saying. I can picture a Mario movie that's 2 hours, 15 minutes.
Jack Black did a great job.
Let me add on to that. Jack Black is essential to that movie's success.
Without Jack Black,
110%. But I would have pitched a Mario movie that was a little bit longer, like 2 hours, 15 minutes, and I would have done a full kind of like I think the way that they did it in terms of like, oh, he's from Brooklyn and then he gets transported in through the tubes. And it's a very easy concept. And it's very safe to actually link it to other Nintendo properties at some point. I think that's really cool. I just feel like a Mario movie could have had more of a Lord of the Rings kind of vibe, a more epic like team trotting
part of you. Like,
yeah, but that's the point, right?
Kids, I think
here's the distinction. I feel like you can have both. So you see. Something like Mario being 90 minutes benefits it at the end of the day to have more money at the box office because you're going to get more showings out of the day, right? Yeah, you're going to have you're going to have the audiences who want to see it later at night who are older, and you're going to have the people who want to see it early in the day who are the children, matinees, etc. Right? But I feel like a lot of times we're forgetting that these movies like Lord of the Rings and epics like an Oppenheimer, even a more intimate, personal epic, right? These films can be these big, longer, more kind of, deeper in a certain sense films and still return on investment in a way that's reflective of the same thing as what Mario did at 90 minutes. I feel like we forget we just got to give a lot of these films the time that they need in the theater to actually work. And then at the same time, you also got to come with the goods. Yeah. And I feel like Mario came with the goods.
The movie that did the best right now is If. Like the movie with
which I heard was I haven't seen it, but which I heard was just okay. It was
okay, but it did better than like a lot of movies right now. Like it's the movie that going the best. It did 80 million domestic wide. It's not that much.
No, but that's kind of impressive in the landscape of what's going on right now.
And I'm down with like Jim from The Office. I'm down with it. Yes, for me, it's Jim from The
we
Office.
have to give credit where credit's due. John Krasinski.
I didn't even like.
No, John Krasinski's a good director. He's actually really good. He's good. He's good at his job as a director, and he's also a solid actor.
And he's
so that just adds to
one step at a time right now. Like we're seeing him in some like.
Don't forget A Quiet Place.
Yeah, exactly.
That's his bread and butter.
The other one, like it's
some good stuff.
Just like some little stuff, but he's placing his.
But speaking of A Quiet Place, I'm very excited to see that next one, that prequel film. I think that might be a nice little sleeper hit that the box office needs right now. Lupita Nyong'o is a very good choice for a lead, and I feel like linking it as a prequel will give you more action than what you're used to. The previous films kind of had to be this like more reserved dramas that use the aliens more as like small set pieces or bigger set pieces at times. And I feel like with this film, because it's a prequel, it's starting right when they drop, you're going to have so much more of that kind of like Cloverfield, kind of like War of the Worlds kind of vibe versus the more post-apocalyptic kind of barren world. And,
you see me, I was expecting more like something like in the future where they're like living under the earth or something, but it's cool. The prequel, it's easier to do. It's more like realistic.
I think it's a like, safer choice, but it's a smart choice at the same time. It's not just safer. It's a very effective choice, and it's something like as a person who doesn't really fuck with prequels, I'm down with that. Yeah, I'm down with it.
Yeah, me too.
And speaking of that, actually,
go for it.
The actor who's co-starring with her is going to be playing the Human Torch in the new Fantastic Four from Marvel. And you're seeing Marvel starting to turn the gears right now to get their public image back in order.
Oh,
you know what I mean?
Disney is working hard,
working overtime,
really?
Y'all.
Without Inside Out, that's coming like in June.
Inside Out is
without Inside Out.
Safe bet.
No, you
that's
think
safe is the word of the day today, you guys.
They need to do a lot. They need to really, really like to.
I don't actually think they have to do that much.
It needs to be the biggest movie of the year.
I think you're missing it.
I think you're thinking right now. Everything is going to shit.
You're thinking about what the movie needs to be for them, and I agree. It needs to be a big box office hit. But you also got to think about what the movie needs to be for the audience, right? And at the end of the day, Inside Out is a big enough property that if the movie just hits a modicum of what somebody expects from it, it'll make its cool, clean little $1 billion that Disney loves. It's the same with Toy Story. Toy Story 4, I'm going to give you an example. Toy Story 4 was a film that was just okay.
Seriously, I love Toy Story, but Toy Story 4 was exactly a replica of Toy Story 3. I said it here, but if you go watch Toy Story 3 and Toy Story 4... the main bad guys, you have people that helps him. He loses. Don't
disrespect my girl, Christina Hendricks.
Same movie, but
Christina Hendricks was a good villain. She was a good villain.
Instead of having that teddy bear,
it was just redundant. That's the problem. There's certain properties that they outlive their stay in a certain way, and I feel like a lot of times Disney's looking at the returns on investment when they're making things like Turning Red and Luca, like they recently said, and going, we don't want to make our tour works anymore. We don't want to make movies that are a catharsis for a director, which is funny because that catharsis for the director they're talking about doesn't appeal to everybody. I don't think every film you're supposed to make from Pixar is supposed to appeal to everybody. I think realistically, you're trying to make a universe of beautiful animated stories that show shared lived experiences, right?
Yeah, but Inside Out is one of them that it touches everybody.
But Inside Out is reflective of a 4-quadrant way to approach that, but not every single one of your works needs to have that intent. And that's the problem with them is they're looking at the money and the business side of it and going, well, if we didn't make Turning Red, we had made another sequel to a safer movie. Yeah. Maybe we would have had an easier time making this thing. And I feel like a lot of times you don't get the full scope of what all of these different, animation directors especially can bring so much to it. Like, I feel like a movie like Turning Red, we need more of those just as much as we should have those sequels that appeal to all 4 quadrants, that hit the mark, that make the $1 billion that they are expected to.
But I like to have like those Pixar movies that are more for us, like for sure.
But at the end of the day, it's there's always going to be that. You should always have a film that has a adult aspect to it, an undercurrent, that when a person takes their kid to the theater, they can have a relationship with the film as much as their child does. Yeah. Right? Something like Soul, for example.
Yeah, or Shrek.
Don't get me started with Shrek.
No, but you know what I mean.
Shrek 2 is goated. That is actually one of the greatest films ever made.
We like those kind of movies, but I get that if you get like more like a general kind of movie that touches everybody at an equal way, could go better. Like for me, what was that movie? I saw it and I forgot it right away. He's like an Italian little boy that he goes in the water. Luca, it's okay. We
He's like, that's forgettable. But I think Luca was I. It was I. You know what I actually found weak? I found Elemental weak. Elemental was weak.
Oh, yeah. I get it.
I think the race relations type narrative that they were doing was just not only too obvious.
No, but they're good.
Not only too obvious, but it wasn't even a good kind of obvious. It was just like, can we get this over and done with? Fire and water can lightly touch. Yeah. She's not Rogue. He's not Iceman. It's not rocket science. You know what I'm saying? But at the same time, I think there's L's that Disney has taken. I think a movie like Lightyear, that could have been a lot more, I think, epic than it was. Yeah. And I think in certain respects, that's the problem with Disney is they're kind of missing that spark of joy and innovation that a lot of their films, usually had. Even a movie like Meet the Robinsons, like that's to me one of those times where Disney actually like put some ideas and forethought into making an interesting, like kind of 50s sci-fi, futuristic world. It's not that it was the best film. It's more that you, as a viewer, you're getting different works in that sort of way. And something like Luca, even if I don't think it was the greatest Disney film,
I enjoyed it. You
still enjoy it because it's an angle. You know what I mean?
Exactly. That's what I mean. Like we like
they're looking at it. They're looking at it more like we need every angle to make $1 billion, and it's like that's not how it works. It's just not realistic. That's true. You know what I mean? And maybe some of these budgets need to be smaller. Maybe some of these films can be smaller. That can be a move. But at the same time, I feel like that does a disservice to the animation and the animation industry as a whole because of what they bring to the table. Like the way animation is moving, not just child animation, but adult animation as a whole. And I would even extend animation to something like Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes, because that is essentially a largely animated film in terms of the main characters you're watching.
Yeah, and they did back their movie, right? Like their money.
They absolutely did make their return on investment with that a little bit.
139
I don't think it was a major.
They did
I don't think it's major.
Mil.
I don't think it's major profits.
No,
but it's definitely something where breaking even at a time like this and looking better than your competition is not a bad thing.
And I want to say something here. I really didn't like Planet of the Apes. I went to see it. I know I may be an old school guy, but I was not expecting maybe so much CGI with those with the plot. And I know maybe it's a controversy about that. And Kaya is not. Listen, me and Kaya, we got in a fight for that. For me, Planet of the Apes it was not that for me. I wouldn't watch it again, never. All the story about like those hawks and like those birds that you could have called those birds at the beginning, man. Come on, like I don't know. All of that for me was I
don't think something being telegraphed makes it weaker.
It's not weak. It's just not that for me. But
it doesn't hit for you.
No, it didn't hit for me. And that's where the expectation.
But did the Caesar trilogy hit for you?
Not that much, but the first one, yeah. Like the first one, yeah.
And that's the weakest one.
Well, it's the one that I was the most anticipated. We're going somewhere. And now with that one, I get it. But I found like, example, the human arrived too fast, too late.
You're trying to tell me.
I didn't like that.
You saw the first one.
I liked
it.
Said,
no, hold
bro,
on.
I like the Tim Burton one. It's not my fault.
Tim Burton one is very solid.
It's the one. It's that one. Let me make this point though. It was a lot of like CGI.
No. Hold the phone. Let me make this point. Yeah, a lot of CGI, whatever. I'm not concerned about your feelings about CG in this movie. I'm curious about this in particular. You're talking about Rise and what the franchise could go towards, right? And
they move it. It's exactly what I expected. But they move it.
The thing is that the direction that they moved in was not only reflective of what the OG franchise did in a more refined and sophisticated way. They even extended it to the fact that the actual CGI complements every part of the real living image. They are filming on set. They are in these forests. They are in mocap suits.
All the makeovers, they are there. I saw it all, bro, but there's something that didn't work for me. Like
my orangutan.
I don't disrespect nobody. I'm just saying like
and you disrespecting my ape brethren, brother.
What I'm saying is just more like it didn't work for me.
Caesar's my boy. That's my goal.
I don't know why. Like
that's
for me,
a ride
an
or die.
actor that I see in back of a CGI, I could see the actor, but I see like the computer. I don't know. For me, I don't know, man.
Listen, I think the humans and the apes can coexist.
I didn't want to have
that's
like
all
costumes, but I want maybe a.
I just want to say the humans and the apes can coexist. I think they can. Not the humans in these movies, but I'm down. I don't know about you, Carlo. I'm down to live with them. Take up their tribal traditions. You know, eat some bananas and stuff. As long as they cook their meat, though. I can't do raw meat. Bro. I don't do all that. It's too much. I would be having whole philosophical conversations with Caesar, bro. It would be so lit. Oh my god! And Noah, you know what? Noah too. Noah's a G2. You know what? No, you know what it is? It's that Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes has a quality to it that's reflective of the OGs that you wanted, but you didn't get enough of it from it. No, and that's fine.
It's not
that's fine. It is.
No, not for me. It wasn't the same thing. Like, I don't know how to say that.
For example, Freya Allen's character.
Like that Freya Allen's character. Where hold they needed
on.
to open the. Let's go back to the what it is.
Go ahead.
They opened the gate, right? Mm-hmm. Like the doors. He wanted to have the technology.
Yes.
We got that scene in the old ones too, man. Like it's something that you could reference. Like it's something that I would be like, okay.
Just making my point. I love it.
I know what you're saying. I'm down with that. I get it. But with all the technology and everything, it's not my jam. It's not like you give me Toy Story, but with
he needed the Shakespearean opera theater version of this film.
But I don't know why. I don't know why it didn't hit like that.
He wanted the Tyler Perry stage play version of Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes.
I was at any point, I was like troubled about like the apes that will be killed or something. I was like, I don't give a shit. It doesn't touch me, but I get that it's the good story, but I didn't care about the characters.
I want to make this point.
That's my point.
Freya Allen's lead functions a lot similarly to Charlton Heston. I'm about to say Harrison Ford. To Charlton Heston's character in the original, and the way that her disdain for the apes and the way that they've taken over the earth, you know, speaks to just I think the way humans are as a whole, how insecure we are, how we can't fathom somebody I think in a lot of respects on like even just like a biological level being superior than us in that sort of way. And I feel like these films touched on that throughout all of the trilogy, and they're only being furthered in these new films. And to me, the angle with Noah and his people and seeing the way that their whole culture formed over those 300 years after Caesar's death was to me like super amazing and super poetic. Like there was qualities to it that worked for me, and let me add to this, okay? The fact that they try to do a sort of like, do we separate or do we coexist, right? Kind of storyline is very typical. It's not brand new, right?
No.
But the actual angle in which they approached it, the execution of it, and the ending overall, the implications for a future Apes movie, whether or not, for example, they make another film using this character of Noah and him in the future.
I don't know how to say that. It's not the character, it's not the storyline, bro. It's not that, bro. You're trying to convince me about something I'm on your side about.
I'm not trying to convince him. I'm just trying to tell the people how I feel.
Listen. I'm not saying that like Noah, I don't want to know what's happening with him. I'm just saying that character-wise, I was seeing like that actor in that CGI shit doing his ape thing, and I was like, oh, okay, that's a decision he made right there. He touched his hand like that. Oh, okay. I wasn't able to be like, it's apes.
You weren't able to connect.
Where in fucking the old ones, where they were fully like beige with their hair that were like clearly like, I was connecting more. Like I was like, okay, I'm going in, but right now with that CGI like that, not that much. Like it's not that much. That's it.
That's
but
entirely fair.
Story-wise and everything, I'm
down.
That.
Wrong opinion.
I want to know. I would like them to go further, right? Because at the end,
this is the angle I was trying to make before you didn't let me finish. My G is that the angle for a future Apes film outside of a Noah sequel, a Noah focused sequel, is to actually move towards the ending of what you preferred from the Tim Burton Planet of the Apes film. That notion of a human getting wormholed into a world that is reflective of a Western-ish kind of, mishmash of ape culture and, Western culture. I personally think if they do this angle, I think drop the Western culture thing and simply make forms of God, make an entire lore and a world-building nature to how, after Noah's time, what would have happened that would have led to the apes actually taking over. And I think that humans should not exist, but there should be a clear kind of societal distinction in how these things work.
Took over on
exactly like humans living in a burrow where they're all a minority and they're maybe like sterilized so they can't actually be having children or some crazy shit. They could do so many things with it, and that's what I'm saying. I feel like the angle that we got with this movie is only going to be furthered if they go in a broader, more sci-fi focused direction.
Well, for me, all you said, plus if you could go with like, that movie, and I'm going to need your brain for that. It's a movie about Will Smith that plays on Netflix, and he's with like orcs or like...
Oh, you're talking... I was about to say, at first I thought
but he's like a policeman, right?
You're talking about Bright? Yeah. Terrible.
Do me something like that in the appearance, and I'm down with it.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Like, bring me the two together. But a little bit of the two together.
What
that
you're saying,
art of doing those makeups
I actually don't necessarily disagree with that as an angle. I don't have an issue. I don't have an issue with the execution of how they did it. I love the CG. I think the CG is...
I know.
Chef's kiss.
Did you like Lion King?
However, before I answer that, I will answer that. When it comes to something like Bright, that mix of makeup and in addition CG is a very good angle. But that's the problem that is an overarching problem. It's the same thing with something like Furiosa. It didn't have that same living, textured quality.
Exactly, we're losing it right now.
Well, that's some of the work is not hitting it.
And that's where, for me, Lion King 2, we lost it in that movie. But I know it's a movie that was controversial.
No, so let me address Lion King though.
Go for it.
Because you asked that question.
I did.
I think the CG Lion King loses a tenderness that is there from the original because of the way that you're mixing human style faces with the lions and whatnot. However, I think it's a interesting experiment in making a CG national. Like, imagine.
Oh yeah, it brings another dimension. Of
not even just another dimension. I think it's more like, think of when you watch National Geographic and you get the story of a deer, and the deer or whatever births its child. The gazelle births its child, and then the child gets eaten by a lion or a cheetah or something, right? That is in and of itself like a whole story, and you're getting invested, right? They basically looked at these sorts of stories and said, what if we just took what the story we have with Lion King, which is just Hamlet, right? And let's just make it realistic CG and try to make the faces work as best as it could. And I think it was okay in that respect. I think the songs were I think the way that they added the scenes that were cut from the original was cool. I did like seeing Nala escape from, the Pride Land when it's all messed up by Scar. But I think
but it's
there's just stuff in it where you're just like, it's just a remake, and it's just
it's okay. Like, story wise, okay. I don't even want to talk about it. I'm just talking about the CG.
No, but
really.
that to me is
for you. Was
but
it
that to
okay?
me it's all a one big package, right? But when it comes to the CGI is the centerpiece of it, right? Because everything kind of has to be is affected by the switch to computer generated graphics. So it's like, to me.
But I get it.
That angle, no, but that angle, it's
all of that.
It's not less expensive. It's actually more expensive making the film like Lion King the way that they did. You would have actually had an easier time if they were remaking the film with drawn animation. It probably
drawn animation, okay, but not like taking lions and learn them how to move and you know what I mean? Going in that forest.
I think PETA would have been on site for that. No,
but what I mean is any movie that even Furiosa,
yes,
it's less expensive doing it like this than going Lord of the Rings style, 8 years in making.
But there's
going at those places, there's an even bigger removal.
But there's an even bigger removal of the intimacy of the actors being on set. You were just talking about Apes and wanting to see in those movies.
It's less expensive doing them like that.
Just listen. You were wanting to see them in suits, right? So wanting to see them in the suits in the more practical makeup aspect, the way you were talking about Bright, I understand. But when they're doing motion capture, right? That is one form and one way to capture that sort of performance, right? That may not be your preferred way, but it is one way. And the actor is the centerpiece of that performance, right? Hold on. When you watch something like Lion King, you're not necessarily removed, but now it's a different kind of relationship. It is a voice actor.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And the voice actor's level of proficiency in that department is going to affect that. And then at the same time, how the animators now animate that character is going to completely change that. Yeah. You're not going to have a child actor in a suit doing the movements of a lion. You know what I'm saying? But the way that you can with Apes is that cross. You have that ability to make that barrier.
Yeah, for sure. And I get it. And I just want to say that I know people that loves Lion King,
the CG version,
because they work in that field. They know how it's hard to get all those motions
there are some shots in there.
Bro, it's a lot. And I'm not saying the movie is not good. I'm just saying it didn't hit.
It didn't hit for you. No, I totally
but
get
it didn't hit because I'm a 90 kid. So it doesn't. For me, I watched it at
the end of the day, you will always prefer to watch the original.
For sure.
There's something about that quality that is there that is lost when you have a CG.
Exactly, but I understand the artwork that is made, and I'm down for the next one that's coming.
I think for me, I'm down with it in the sense.
Will I go see it to the
I'm down with it in the sense that I want to support Barry Jenkins. He's a phenomenal director. I'm sure he found the material to make a prequel movie.
Yeah.
It's telling the story of Mufasa and Scar is going to be very interesting. However, I just feel like we'd be better served with having more original works at this point from these kinds of angles. I would love an original CGI work.
Yeah, for sure. It would be amazing.
I think we're missing that Treasure Planet type of experimentation. And I'm not to say we need another Treasure Planet. I don't think you need another big bomb for Disney, even though that movie is really awesome. I just think you need to find ways to be innovative that don't have to rely on this nostalgic member berries ass pull.
But for real, they're gonna pull like the curiosity of everybody with that movie. For sure, we're all gonna go check it out, see how. Well, I will for sure on Lion King, see how they were together when they were young and everything.
Yeah.
I think that curiosity will get us there, but it's not going to be necessarily the CGI or
No, and I think what I
mean. But I think that we are not the target audience for Lion King, anyways, bro.
No, to a degree, we're not. No, we're not.
We're not It's not for us that they did that. So at the end, if the mother likes it and the kid likes it, they got it, bro.
That's true. As long as they hit as many quadrants as they can with that and make their billion, it's always about the billion now. Once it crosses the billion, then everything changes. It's the same thing with something like Venom. The Venom 3 trailer dropped today, and Venom's a franchise that first one made $1 billion, so they're like, let's keep it going. Even if your return on investment gets lower and lower, and the movies, I wouldn't even say get shittier. They're just all.
It's propre, shit. Like you say, c'est très propre, c'est slick.
C'est slick, c'est propre.
No, mais is it?
Okay, this is what
looks
clean.
This
is how I would put it.
Clean,
I actually think the way that the Venom movies are, like the cinematography and stuff, is fine. It's fine. There's nothing genuinely that bad about it, but it's not anything to write home about. But they're the sort of films that they're not meant to appeal to, I think, somebody looking for, I think, a more nuanced take on Venom. Yeah. And I think, like, Tom Hardy is better served in a better Venom film, but he's a phenomenal actor. But I think at the end of the day, sometimes, you got a gig, bro, you have an angle, people like it. His accent in these movies is horrible. People love it. I don't get it. People love it. I'm down with people enjoying it.
You have the problem right there.
But you see what I'm saying, right? Yeah. But I respect people's desire to watch these movies. Mm-hmm. I want a lot of these properties to succeed. Sure he's gonna work. I just want them to succeed. It probably will. But I want these movies to succeed on a level that is above what the expectation is of them. I think like a movie like Venom doesn't have that kind of shtick for me that appeals the same way that, like, if I were to see, like, I actually would really want to just put it like this, like something like the Marvels actually has a more competent and interesting angle of approach and execution to a superhero film than something like Venom. I think Venom, it teeters. It's like this weird tonal shift. Like they want to be a horror movie in a sense. They want to be a comedy in a sense. They also want to be slightly dramatic. They also want to be a major action film. And it's like, there's a way to hit all those notes and synergize it together, but it's never reflective in those movies. Like every time you watch them, you can just tell there's all these different studio mandates. Like one person's saying, make a joke here. And then the director wants this head bite over here. And then the next scene, Tom Hardy's got to have this whole intense moment. But no, at the same time, for me, it's like when I look at something like Venom, it's something I know that doesn't appeal to me. But at the same time, I'm still gonna look at it and judge it for what it is and what I think Sony wants those movies to be a lot of times, especially their Marvel stuff. Like, I don't know about you, but like at the end of the day, like Venom is so far removed from the MCU proper. Like you can tell the quality is just different.
Well, for me, Venom is more important than the MCU for me because I'm Venom Man and Spider-Man. It's Carnage. It's all together, bro. It's where I come from. So for me, not giving like that much like interest in that new movie, it speaks for itself. You know what I mean? Like, I never went to see any Venom in the theater. I always watch it at home. And it's like if it doesn't really call to me. So if it doesn't call to me, like imagine like all my friends 40, Roelio that we know, what's up, and you didn't went to see it. Like nobody goes out of their way to see Venom. And that's where it's surprised that like it works. Like
it's not even
they
just
did a second one. Like they should have. Not they should have. Like but Sony, man,
it's more than that. Just that it works. I think it's that it's like superhero characters or supervillain characters in this instance, right? They can be very interesting when they're well executed. And I feel like Venom, because people have been wanting a focus on him, and they've only gotten less than 30, 40 minutes of screen time in the entirety of cinema of this character, you know what I mean? Yeah. They want more. And even if that more is, subpar, like Sony's works in general aren't even subpar. Like, for example, we're going to talk about this next film from Sony, Bad Boys.
Yeah, like the next film that's coming out.
That is the next potential box office hit, maybe sleeper hit. Last film was a major sleeper hit during COVID, and I think it's going to be a real test for Will Smith and his, I think, bounce back in popularity, potentially if that slap affected him.
The thing is, that slap affected him, and I know, like, it's...
Oh, it did?
It did affect him a lot, like...
I posed it as a question.
I'm not even... Yeah, I know, because a lot of people that I talk to is like, yeah, it's okay, and other people...
Because, I'm down with Will Smith, bro. He's my boy.
I get it, but... it was really my boy, and I love that franchise, but I'm not that excited about it right now, like...
Does it have to do with the slap?
maybe subconsciously, maybe like it's about like it's not that I want to go see Will Smith. It's more like I don't know. I'm not down with it right away, and I want to see if it's gonna really do what you're saying. Because I know
pre-slap. Were you down with it? Like
pre-slap, bro. I wanted him to be a fucking superhero after Hancock and everything, but after all that mediatic shit storm that happened for him, right now I'm like, yeah, okay, maybe it's come back. Let's check it out.
You're kind of cool on Will Smith.
Yeah, I'm like, it's not the Will that I loved.
I mean, that's fair. I guess it's just like you're entitled to feeling that way about you're allowed to have a response
really
to
because we put them on those idols,
his Hollywood, his Hollywood image,
that human, bro.
But I think the art is a little bit separate from a lot of these personal incidents, and I feel like on the scale of personal incidents, you guys, it ain't that bad. Chris Rock's a dickhead. I'm sorry. That motherfucker getting smacked don't bother me. He's still a funny motherfucker though. But him getting smacked is what it is, bro. Like I actually would say that was one of the most hilariously comedic moments in the history of media.
Yeah, but it didn't got received like that.
Oh no, I know, because I think that there's a racial component to that. I think a black man assaulting anybody, let alone another black man on TV, kind of shows I want to find the right words for it. I feel like in media, right, for a black man to go to a generally white, more, European normative kind of setting, like the Oscars, like, Cannes and all these sorts of different festivals and whatnot and award shows, I feel like you have a certain expectation that is you already feel it in the real world as a person of color, especially as a black person. But I think when you are on these stages, you have an even higher expectation than other people. That's not to say that if a white person had smacked somebody, it wouldn't have been a big deal or whatever, or a white celeb had done that. But it's more the backlash and the response to it, to me, was very,
Yeah, but it's all about the attitude he had.
No, but I think it was very tantamount to what,
I
want to make this point, it was very tantamount to what black people deal with overall in terms of how we are perceived. I think we're not allowed to be wrong. We're not allowed to take an L. You know what I mean? When we take an L, it's the biggest thing in the world. And I think it can affect you for this. Look at that for you.
But I cannot say nothing about that because I'm not black, so I cannot
say
it's
but you're
not,
feeling
it's not true. But what I'm saying is more like, seriously, I condone some people that are white or black that did less. I have the impression that Will Smith didn't do much, but it was too much.
It was public. I think that's the big. I think
Will Smith.
it was. I think it's.
Prince of Bel-Air. It was like.
It's a twofer.
It brought another
the image.
Kind of,
you're right. The image is so high up.
Yeah, exactly. And that's where it's the problem.
That rise and fall is very easy.
At the end, like you're right. Like it was just a slap. Like and maybe like it went further because of the race thing and everything. So
there's a lot, but there's so many aspects to this situation, right? That can literally affect just a film's box office, like Bad Boys, right? Like there are definitely people who, outside of everything, just looked at it and went, "I'm good" on Will Smith. You know what I mean? The same way that there's people who are completely out of the echo chamber of understanding of all these sorts of things and a lot of media, and just kind of going, I'm kind of cool on it. I'm a little bit over it. It's like I'll go watch Bad Boys because Will Smith's situation is not, pertaining to me in any way. I'm sure there's a lot of people in the middle of America who, when they go to the theaters and this coming weekend, they see Bad Boys, they're like, yeah, let me go watch a Will Smith movie.
For sure.
You know what I'm saying?
Sure. Real talk, I would instinctivement, I would go right away.
That's right. Say it in French, baby.
Once in a while. That's where you remember we are a podcast in Montreal.
Yeah, we're Kebs.
We're Kebs.
It's a real talk.
So let's watch the trailer if you're down
for
with it.
Bad Boys. All right, let's do it.
Let's
check this.
Bad Boys.
Yeah, it's the official trailer right there, right?
Yeah, it's this
one? Yeah. Ride or die, bro. Because it's ride or die. All right. Oh, YouTube ads. At least it's the 5-second one. We're doing good. We don't pay for YouTube Premium here, even though YouTube Premium is nice. It's really fun. All right.
I don't know why.
Let's see.
Oh, because it goes inside of it. Okay, I get it.
Now, right now. So yeah, right now. Check it out. It's hot.
Oh, those shots look good, though. I can't lie. I think they're using a lot of films.
We are late. Must stomach, Mike. I need a
It's what I expect. What I'm expecting.
Like like Michael Bay used to do these movies, right? And now you have the two directors. I think it's Bilal and Bilal. I actually want to make sure I pronounce their names correctly, but those two brothers are on these now. And, two besties. They're really good at this.
But right there, it's again those two talking before shit goes down, right?
Yeah, but
that's what we want.
But that's that
about
banter
it.
you expect.
Yeah, but it's what you expect.
You need them to go into a shoddy little,
yeah, we want that. We want that almost.
And somebody tries to rob it. Real simple.
Yeah, or even sometimes it's not even that. It's just they're talking about something and boom, like
you have to have back and you absolutely have to have that back and forth.
We got it. We got that part. What's new? What's next?
All right, Sony. What you got? What you got, Sony?
Is it a part of like car?
Yo, see, I like when you bring characters back and keep them in.
Well, then you need to deploy.
Yeah, 4 characters, bro.
See, I can dig plot lines that always kind of bring back a character, like he's been framed.
Yeah. We need to clear his name. You know what I mean? It's okay. It's a feel-good kind of movie.
No, but simple plots for these sorts of films are not an issue. These are characters you want to just see in any sort of.
And you want to see.
And you want to see as many F-bombs as you need quite a few. If you don't have those, it's not Bad Boys.
Yeah, that's the thing.
Okay, I ain't gonna lie. That's what's it? The guy from Euphoria? Yeah.
Okay.
He's kind of cute. I ain't gonna lie. Grey's Anatomy, my boy. Yeah.
Going up there.
If you know, he ain't with us no more in the Grey's Anatomy universe.
Fighting in the sky now.
Okay, listen. Airplane fights are. Okay, flip.
Yeah.
See, you see, the camera work is great. Like it looks good. It looks premium.
For sure. And I think that is what is with Bad Boys.
Well, not only that, Michael Bay has always been a good director in terms of the visual. He's just had some really, awfully written movies like these Transformers ones sometimes. But the Bad Boys films were always solid. You need the running shot. That's right, Will Smith. That's right. Let's double back on that. Yeah, that's right. Will.
Yeah.
That's right, Will. That's all you need. You need the money shot of them with the camera panning
and
around them.
And you see, he has that orange here, so
something went down. Exactly.
Yeah.
So good. That's right, Martin Lawrence. Have your moment, bro.
I love the guy.
No, he's an OG. He needs to have a little bit of a renaissance, just like
for him. I'm just
like a small little Keanu sauce for Martin Lawrence.
So broke.
Ooh, okay. See, the thing with Will is, look at those drone shots. That was
like that.
That was great.
Yeah.
That was great. You have to understand, it's a stylistic choice, and you want these directors to bring these stylistic choices out. It's a movie. Stop doing none of this real life. Throw the gun across the room type thing. Show it flash across.
Why don't you sing us a little Reba song?
Reba.
I love Reba. But I don't know any Reba songs. I just know the show.
Strong black woman. Yeah, because she's not black. Yes. What you gonna do?
Of course, sing the song, bro. That's right.
Talking.
No,
Boom,
they gotta have the song in there.
Oh, you think? Oh yeah.
There you go. Yeah, I think that's a watch. It's a fun. It looks like a fun, good time, and it's worth your little $10-$12 at the movie theaters, 15,
almost
whatever
15
it is.
Now,
it is, whatever it is. Yeah, I'm a Cineclub member.
Around the world, it 10 to 25.
I'm sorry. I don't know about that life. I'm a Cineclub member. Okay.
Oh, okay. Just go VIP.
Cineclub. Okay. It's good. You get them discounts on the food, and I get a free ticket a month, and I get my member discount tickets. Yeah. I rocks with it. I will say, though, I did hear that those directors were up for the chance to get the Spider-Man 4 gig. I would love to see them direct that. I think stylistically, the way that they've done these two Bad Boys movies, and their unfortunately tax-written off Batgirl movie from Warner Brothers. Fuck you, David Zaslav.
Hey. It's a general podcast, bro. Because of that, now we are 13 and older.
Oh, no.
I'm going to need to, beep you.
We're going to really have to modify that. You know what? We'll do the Family Guy thing. In the Family Guy cuts, they put the beeps.
Yeah.
And then when you have the unrated DVD versions like back in the day, you'd get all the... Right? Exactly. So, all that being said, I would really like to see those directors take over for Spider-Man. I think John Watts was just okay. And I really think that they can bring a flair that's been missing since those Raimi movies. You know what I mean? And I went to go see Spider-Man 2 and 3 in the theater recently, and They were like, it was just such a good time. It was a good theater experience. Everybody was happy to watch them, but it was like the actual films were just fun to watch. Even though Spider-Man 3 is pretty trash, it was really fun. I had a great time with that. And I feel like we're missing that from some of these movies. Like something like Bad Boys, if you just saw that, it looked fun. It looks
always fun, stylistic, and it's a perfect summer movie.
It hits the notes that I think are expected of it, right?
Exactly.
That's what it is. That's circle back. That's circle back.
Yeah.
It's really that like audience expectations. They are shifting in a way, but at the same time, they are stagnant. There's certain things that will always reign true. If it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Yeah.
You know? And I think something like Bad Boys is reflective of that. That's why it worked so well during COVID. That's why I think this one's going to work really well right now.
Let's see if it's going to work. Tell us in the comments if you think that Bad Boy will work, or tell us which movie you want to see that comes up like in the next months.
Well, we all know it's Deadpool Wolverine. Deadpool Wolverine is
2 months. So
Deadpool Wolverine is the summer box office savior.
Yeah,
literally the savior. Let's hope that it doesn't just have to rely on the box office. Doesn't just have to rely on Deadpool and Wolverine. However,
right now,
all signs are pointing to that movie just hitting the mark.
It's not going anywhere else right now.
It looks like Marvel's going to get back into the good graces of the general public. And I think they need to give the Twitter people a palate cleanser because they're so mad at all the MCU stuff. You know what? I like the MCU, the way it's been moving. I will say this one thing, though. Secret Invasion was garbage. Everybody knows it, right? But The Marvels was a really good movie. No cap.
On this, we're going to say, see you next time. Thank you to be here, Crossover Cinema Podcast. I'm Carlo.
It's a pleasure having you guys, and I'm Kaya. Tune in next time on the Crossover Cinema Podcast.
Because the next time, we're telling you right now what we're going to do. Kaya, before we're leaving, we're going in... we're going in House of the Dragons. Every week, we're going to do a live stream of House of the Dragons, the episode that's airing. And
we're going to actually be live streaming it on the Sunday afterwards.
Yeah.
We're not sure if we're going to do a react as the episode's on or if we're going to do a, just a breakdown after the fact, but we're definitely going to have something on the Sunday every single week that House of the Dragon is coming out because, that's the summer ticket.
And the format will change. We're not going to be here anymore. Mm-hmm. Well, we're going to continue to come to the studio, but generally we're going to be at home and
on
we're going to
Twitch
change
and
just to
Discord.
Be more on time because that's our problem. We cannot see each other every time there's something that we want to do, so we're going to be more there. So thanks guys, everybody who watched since the beginning. It's a crazy thing. Thanks.
It's really a great time, and we enjoy bringing you the latest and greatest with the releases of movies, film, TV, media, games, everything. We're gonna bring it all to you, and we hope to see you in our next one. Ciao.